Hey, I wanted to talk about how sometimes we go through times in our life when things really just are bad, and we have insight. We have the privilege of that insight of understanding that our needs aren't met, and it's tough because if you're like me, like I'm 32 years old, you have grown up your entire life and gone through so many formative years of having a totally different perspective on life, not knowing what your needs are and not knowing that your needs matter. And so you get used to just, you know, these unhelpful survival patterns that don't actually let you have joy and peace and all the things that you really want. And there are the good side of being so sensitive to pain is that I'm definitely going through that stage. When I was younger, I numbed with substances. I haven't done that in like 7 years. So now that I am not numbing and I'm able to feel my emotions, I'm able to feel the strong pain. It's really giving me a lot of information to understand what my needs are more. Needs that I never realized I had, needs that I didn't take seriously before because I would just be like, oh, I'm just gonna solve the pain with a drug or solve the pain with, zoning out on my phone game forever, or other things that cause like bad consequences of health and just like depression and all of that. So, it's so important though, I think, and it's so hard because the world doesn't want us to do this. It can be hard to remember to stay on our own side through this and to stay in this empowered perspective where we remember this conviction that our emotional needs matter, and that remembering we are we deserve to have them fulfilled, that this matters. And the thing is, it's patience and consistent effort, and sometimes suboptimal survival circumstances in the middle, while we are waiting for the right people and the right circumstances to come along. Like we have to trial and error, be putting ourselves in a variety of situations and seeing what, just hoping that we fall into a situation that meets our needs. Like for me, like with a workplace, with a job, I have this pattern in jobs where I get into jobs that I'm immediately disrespected, don't feel safe. They don't have the same values as me. They're cruel to people. And I just tell myself like, oh, I gotta survive, gotta be here. But then it warps my soul and it warps my understanding of myself. And it just doesn't ever lead to any good outcomes. And there's also, with friendships, we can not want to be alone so much that we are in situations that drain us and cause us to not allow our mental health to come first, not allow our best qualities to come out, not allowing us to remember who we actually are. And it takes patience and just putting ourselves out there repeatedly and trying until, I guess, you not magically, but until one day the right environment comes along. Like I keep on being like, I want to be in environments where the challenge for me is not to withstand mistreatment, both in friendships and in workplaces. I want to be in situations where the discomfort I have comes from realizing things that aren't even necessarily in my frame of reference yet. Like I feel I don't know, like it's hard for me to open up and be playful. Like I feel embarrassed around being lighthearted and playful. Um, something like that, you know, like that's where I want my difficulty to come from. Like I can't even name other things because I am not in these situations yet. My focus is just on it's that the comfort of, you know, like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know, that type of thing. The circumstances I keep on getting into are ones where neglect or just abuse, incompatibility are the themes. And, you know, when you feel so isolated and you have all this history behind you and you're just trying to survive, like the anger and the pain of not having your needs met, it all is so strong. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that I am extremely disciplined with being quiet and loving towards other people and just, you know, I don't react outwardly. And it just is very much like, okay, I'm done with learning that kind of theme. You know, I want to have energy opened to be like in a totally different world with different types of experiences and different challenges, you know. And the ways that I've been trying to make myself attuned to different experiences is by having, you know, changing my mindset, which I've really been working on, changing my priorities. I probably have to put more effort towards organization and discipline in general. And I have to really believe that maybe if there are some sacrifices I make, then I actually will get everything that I want. You know, I'll actually get the thing that really matters to my heart, which is the safe job environment and friendships that feel reciprocal and really caring. And I, you know, something else I've been changing about myself is figuring out how do I be more honest, you know, honest with knowing my emotional needs and then being able to put that out there immediately to people and not just expecting, because, you know, I feel like when I do job interviews, I tend to just see myself as like, I have to mold myself into whatever they want. I can't have any preferences. Don't ask any questions, that kind of thing. And then I end up getting to the job and being like, great, this isn't sustainable. I can't stay in this. So, you know, I think some questions I have to be more willing to tell people what actually matters to me. And as I've been able to back myself up more, feeling like my emotional needs matter, and as I've been identifying my emotional needs more, you know, the plus side of experiencing so much severe pain. I think that these things will help me to filter out bad environments and not seeing it as like I failed, because I tend to have low self-esteem still. You know, I tend to be like, oh, I failed. I'm hopeless. You know, I have nothing going for me. Everything's that kind of catastrophizing thinking. I tend to be like that. I have those kind of thoughts, and then it makes it so that, well, I totally lost track of the thought that I was just talking about. You know, I constantly feel like I have multiple thought lines going in my head at once. Anyway. Yeah, so those are some thoughts I'm having right now as I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, yes, I can't just keep on hoping for the best. I have to get more serious about some kind of trade-off to help myself get into better situations. And yeah, these are the kind of thoughts I've been having lately, among other thoughts, I mean. And I also wanted to share I got a weird notification on my phone. I also wanted to just share as a part of like the accountability thing I'm trying to do just for myself, because it helps to say it out loud for something I can reference in the future. That I today, I felt good, like as far as moving around, doing things throughout the day, I did wake up at like 11 or 11:30 or something, but I think that's fine because I got really good rest. And when I got up, I went downstairs in my apartment to the elliptical for 10 minutes, and I did stretching, ate breakfast, oatmeal with hemp seeds and raisins and a banana. And I was just drinking tea and water, and I wrote down the things I wanted to get done today. And I was just trying to breathe and be like, I'm in the present moment. Like, I am powerful. What I am focusing on, it is, things aren't as bad as I sometimes can think. I was trying to be like, no, I really do have the control and power to live my life as I see fit. And I was also like, yeah, I can have all these distracting thoughts that are based on trauma from the past and distractions, but I can also remember that I have the power to turn those thoughts down, or to press pause, and they don't have to bully me. And that's something that is really tough for me, of these thoughts just kind of not recognizing sometimes I'm in these thought traps, or feeling like if I go down these thought trap or these thought I don't really like the word spiral for some reason. With these thought spirals or something, I keep on thinking that I'll find some kind of solution. And sometimes I do kind of find solutions, but also I need to have that feeling that I'm in control, that I can stop my thoughts when I need them to or want them to. So, yeah, I was practicing turning off my thoughts. I was just listening to YouTube videos while I was cooking. I cooked for like 5 hours today. I prepped a lot of like vegetable and fruit ingredients. I made a few things, including a whole cake for my boyfriend. Well, the cake is just like one of those mix, I don't know, Pillsbury or whatever. I don't remember what brand it was. One of those cakes is a strawberry cake, and then I put buttercream frosting on it, and then sliced strawberries. It was cute. It was fun to make, but I can't eat that because it's bad for my I don't want my diverticulitis type stuff to flare up again, and I feel sick when I eat sugar. Like, it just feels like my nervous system is that sensitive, and it just feels like a head rush in a bad way, like a stimulant kind of thing. So, yeah, and I still am planning to, tonight, the last things that I want to make sure that I do, I hear a helicopter, is to, some of the things that I brainstormed today that felt like salves to my soul. I wanted to write it down and then read it out loud, make an audio recording of it so that I can listen to it in my earphones when I most need it, and I don't have to kind of do all that work again of trying to find my way back to those same conclusions, because I find that with myself, like, I'll come to this really great conclusion sometime, and I'll kind of feel like, oh my god, like I figured out how to solve my pain, or I figured, like, so much relief. And then I'll just kind of assume, because I got to that place mentally and emotionally that time, that like I have actually learned it. But I haven't actually learned it. Like, I haven't integrated, like, it's not a part of my personality and initial thoughts yet. So I was like, I need to brainwash myself. Like, I've been brainwashed so much by self-hate, self-harm, self-sabotage, all this stuff for however many years it would have started at, I guess, since I was born, or before that, so like 32 years or whatever. And I need to brainwash myself in the opposite direction now. So I just want to make a recording of these positive affirmations. And in the past, I've used a lot of affirmations that I found on YouTube that have really helped me, especially the anxiety affirmations I found. But these ones that I created it's less like simple affirmations and more like laying out entire narratives and mental perspectives that help me to feel in control and help me feel like I know what the plot is, I know what character I'm playing, I know how to interpret other people's actions. Because something else I was thinking is that it doesn't really matter what other people's intention is. It matters more how I interpret it. And I want to interpret it in a way that doesn't let people get away with things, so to speak, like where I'm acknowledging, yeah, that is shitty what people are doing, but I'm also acknowledging that that they don't have power over me. And I'm also not trying to be like, oh no, they're harming themselves, I have to be the hero. I don't want to do that anymore. I've harmed myself so much in my life trying to be a savior for people, for people who are actively harming me, and I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, I hope whatever's going on in your life that you keep on staying strong with your convictions and your values and ways to remember that life is really, really, really hard in so many ways, but there absolutely can be a way that you can feel safe and have, safe and feel safe through safe methods. You're not feeling safe by just being stoned all the time, or you're not feeling safe by doing really risky things that just distract and numb you from the things that are harming you. There are ways to feel safe that are safe and are good for your future and give you hope, like yes, like I know now what are the things that are missing, and I know that I'm on that path to get the missing ingredients so that I can feel happy and fulfilled and ease all my severe pain and continue the trauma healing process. So yeah, best wishes, and thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye.